Dish it up with Dr. Deborah Stroman.
From the basketball court at the University of Virginia to the classroom at UNC Chapel Hill, Dr. Deborah Stroman has it all covered. Now this professor and sports business entrepreneur is about to take you to school. It's time for Dishing It Up with Dr. Stroman and the Sports Shop on Buzz Sports Radio.
D. Stroman.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Stroman. How you doing this morning?
I am doing great. I'm fired up. It's been a challenging week mentally. Just dealing with
right about that.
with the volunteer work. Volunteer work is supposed to be smooth and a nice groove, but when you get a little drama going on, that's not fun. But other than that, I am happy. It's football, it's basketball, and God is good. How are y'all?
Fantastic, Dr. Stroman. We get a chance to do this. We loving it.
We are doing good. I wanted to ask you before you get started. I know you went to the game. I hate I didn't get a chance to go, but to talk about seeing Paige in person, and I was seeing the highlights. She went off again, as always.
Oh, yeah, she is the truth. And in fact, my topic for today is Geno, the GOAT.
Okay.
That's right.
The greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And having the opportunity to be in Greensboro, I think it's New Horizons Coliseum now,
Really?
watching the Huskies beat the Tar Heels, it was a little mixed for me. You know, I do have the Tar Heel blood. I have a degree from there. I love my students, colleagues, and all of that. But Geno was my assistant coach back in Virginia. He left for UConn in 1985. Wow. And what a powerhouse. And being able to speak to him during the press conference, asking him about his longevity, and then spending a brief amount of time, but very, very rewarding with his wife, Cassie, after the game and just talking about the history. For those of you who missed the game, I at least encourage you to listen to his press conference. He did raise up how he learned so much when he came to the ACC. And in his Italian stallion way, he talked about how he thought the best basketball was only in the greater Philadelphia area. But when he joined the ACC, he learned about North Carolina and how he learned so much from Dean Smith and about how the basketball is played well all across the country. So that was a nice little tribute to Dean Smith.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know, the GOAT. And I want to read some numbers, and then I just have, some reflective questions for you all. But 1,217 wins, 11 national championships, 23 Final Fours, 6 undefeated seasons, 111 wins in a row, reached the Final Four an incredible 14 consecutive times, 14, won 4 straight national titles from 2013 to 2016. He was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Hall of Basketball Fame in 2006. He broke the tie with another dear friend, legendary Stanford coach Tara Vanderveer, who just retired in April. His 1,217 wins are the most in NCAA history, women or men's, for any division. And the record breaker was his 329th victory of at least 40 points.
Wow.
He's had more than twice as many 40-point wins in his career as total losses. And one thing that's noteworthy, unlike Vanderveer and Coach K, the only other coaches to reach the 1,200 win mark, he spent his entire coaching career at one school. He had 160 players play for him and have their lives changed. So I just want to pause there to reflect on his record. John Calipari, who's now at Arkansas, he's the closest active coach on the men's side to Auriemma's record. And Calipari is more than 400 wins behind him. Geno, the GOAT.
Geno, the GOAT. He's definitely the GOAT.
Without a doubt. Wow.
That's what an amazing career.
Yeah. So I want to ask you all, and I know this is probably something that would take a while to reflect on, but just top of mind thoughts. What would you tell a young coach if you were the general manager, if you were the owner of the franchise, the athletic director? What would you tell a young coach about having success? Like, what are your 1 or 2 pillars that you would instill?
Wow.
My first thought with that would be keeping in mind, like, we always talk about coaching up. And somewhere in this now, it's hard to do a lot of that with the NIL. And people, we talked about that. You bent somebody, you try to do something, then they're ready to jump in the transfer portal. So just really something about just the importance of development of the player beyond the court or the field, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, personal conduct, how you conduct yourself. It's two things. One is top of mind for me is instilling a sense that you represent the organization on the field and off the court, off the court. And we got to do the little things right all the time. If we do the little things right all the time, most of it will take care of itself.
Thank you.
Only thing I can add to that is having a sense of being consistent with your approach to all the players. I mean, it's kind of difficult to do because some players are better than others, but people respect you when you're consistent with your approach, how you treat them, and on and off the court. And I think people respect you when you do that. So that's my top of mind first thing I think about. Yeah.
Thank you for that, and I appreciate Pam bringing up this new era that we're in. And I know our generation probably had our hang-ups and the way we came across, but, so many people, whether you're talking about academically, whether you're talking about athletically, whether you're talking about business as in employment and internships, there seems to be an interesting sense of sensitivity around this age group. Some people say they're babies. Some people say they don't have thick skin. Some people say they're not built for this. And of course, this is not their fault. This is how we raise them. Everybody gets a trophy. You get to pick and choose what you want for dinner, right? Versus what's served is what you will eat. All of this stuff. So, in the sense of how we discipline today as coaches, I guess you could say the everybody's watching now. So, a slight touch of a player, whether that's a hug or a pat on the butt, like, come on, that can be viewed as, some type of abuse. So the next question is, and again, I know it could change tomorrow or next year, but if you were going into coaching today, and let's say you're coaching the same sex as you, would you coach more like a friend? Because knowing this generation so that you don't want to seem as, too hard and next, get called for being abusive? Or would you coach as a disciplinary mother or father? Would you be the one that, I'm not your friend, I'm here to develop you? So would you do a friend or would you do the mother-father style?
Yeah. Dr. Stroman, actually, it's funny you say that. We go through these exercises sometimes with leadership development. My leadership approach is always going to be, I'm going to coach you. I'm going to mentor you. I'm not your friend.
Okay.
I'm just. It just is. I'm not your friend.
Why is that?
Because Because I think people get distracted on what they actually should be what they should be focusing on, because you never know how people start to relate to things and take things and do things when they start thinking it was a friendship relationship versus that you're coaching them, because their goal should be to always pay attention to what you're trying to instill in them, what you're coaching them to do, and what you're doing. So it's not, if I'm your friend, it won't be in that setting. So that's just not. I mean, when it comes to that, I'm not your friend. So.
I think I have coaches in my family that I really admire and watch do what they do so well. And what I love the most, and I'm always about the relationship that's off the court as well. So I think there's a place to be both. I can be the disciplinarian. I can be your coach when I need to be your coach. But I also want you to know that you can come to me, that I am your friend. So I think you need both, and that's where respect comes in at. You get that respect.
Yeah. What's that, Dr. Stroman? You said next level. What did you say? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, there are some coaches. In fact, I won't name names, but I remember speaking to an athlete, and I said, well, maybe you should go talk to the head coach. And this athlete said they can't,
right? Because
you have to go to the assistant coach first, and then the assistant coach can take it. So the wall is very, very strict and structured. So I hear what you're saying, Pam. Yeah.
My approach would be a hybrid. To be quite honestly, I think it's nothing wrong with being stern and being a coach and being again consistent with your approach. But my management style all my life has been that, but also my life is that to be friendly to the people that I work with, to have them assume I am a friend, someone they can go to and confide in, but they understand that there's no BS going on either. When it's time to go to work, it's time to go to work.
That's right.
And they respect me for that. So that's why I come in on that level.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is definitely a day to celebrate greatness. I don't think anyone could argue that Geno Auriemma is the GOAT now of coaches, men and women. I mean, look at the numbers.
No. So numbers in situations, I think, are different, Dr. Stroman. Let me explain. And you may get a little upset about this statement, but as I look at women's college basketball, I mean, it was only him. I mean, where was the competition? And when you got all the best,
wow.
Let me finish.
You didn't say that.
What about the Tennessee coach?
Let me finish. Can I finish my statement, people?
Oh yeah, we sorry.
unlike when you were Nick Saban coaching in the SEC, where everybody's good all the time, and you end up winning that, and you end up winning that championship 7 times.
Come on, man.
I think if you're comparing those two, I mean, Geno's great. Don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about being great when everybody's great, not being great when just a few people are great. And I just think that's where the difference is, in my opinion. I think Nick Saban is the best college coach in any sport, and I was on bias, but that's my perspective on that.
I wish C.L. Brown were back on the show.
I do too.
No, we don't want C.L. back.
No way. You could put Nick Saban with the years where there was only like 3 teams in the SEC that were good.
Just stop.
Get him, Dr. Stroman.
You were actually present.
Up about this, Errol, because that is just unheard of. Did I just read the numbers of Geno?
Yes.
Yeah, but
it's not the same, Dr. Stroman. It's not the same, Dr. Stroman. That is not the same thing. That is not the same thing.
Hey, Dr. Stroman, why wouldn't we say John Wooden then, who won 11 championships in a row? Why can't we say that? I mean, if you want to get
I'm saying there were a lot of great ones, but I think Geno is the GOAT over John Wooden. I think what we're getting lost in is the fact that you're referring to, I think it's really a gender issue here. Men's basketball. Oh, that's in football. Look what Geno has done in this sport.
You heard me.
The numbers. Nobody beats his numbers. No one beats his numbers. No one.
Okay. Well, I knew you were going to get upset. I told you that before I even said what I said.
Yeah.
I knew that was going to happen.
And you know, I know we're up against it. We got to go. You probably going to come back on and smack us around next week. But
we're going to have a test next week just because of y'all.
But Dr. Stroman, you're right. It is a gender issue.
Yeah.
So he put up all those numbers, but it's a gender issue.
What? Oh, now don't you go there. Don't you say women's sports is less than.
Dr. Stroman.
That's Kmac. That ain't the reason.
I still
Dr.
get
Stroman.
my A. I think he's the GOAT.
Dr. Stroman, I'm trying to get extra credit here. Dr. Stroman, I appreciate it. I get it. But I just want you to think about it. Just give us some thought when you would get off the air.
I'm a critical thinker. I would think about it. But we don't know about the number of men's coaches who've gone to Geno to watch his practices, to learn from him. And then they go and have success on the other side. See, that's okay. Even as players,
I told you.
Have talked about how Geno doesn't like to have the light on him, although it's hard not to because he wins so much. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't like to show how he's touched so many other sports and done so many other things.
So when Dawn Staley ends up with these type numbers,
I don't think she's gonna get those numbers. She's not. She's probably she'd be too old. Yes, probably. Think about it.
Which goes into.
Thank you, Errol. She will not.
Oh, okay.
40 years in one school. Yeah. Most of these coaches, they pulling their hair out and they won't even last 10 years.
40 years ago.
Right.
40 years ago.
40 years.
Geno. I get it.
Nick Saban couldn't even last.
Hello. Wait a minute.
He had to get out because NIL was changing the game for him.
Pamela, really?
Really?
Okay.
Really?
Dr. Stroman, I know you.
We up against it,
Dr. Stroman. Yeah, exactly. We up against it. I know you're a very fair person, and you're gonna take all of our papers and you're gonna grade them.
Guess who's getting the A today?
Pam has already been graded. The rest of you, I'm going to have to think about.
Just give us some thought. That's all I'm saying.
Just give us some thought, Dr. Stroman.
That's all. You may not be happy at the end of it, but give us some thought.
Kmac and Errol, I'm going to see you in office hours. Pam, have a great weekend.
Dr. Stroman, we got one question to think about. One of our co-hosts on YouTube, Mike Pringley, asked why he never took on the challenge to coach men. Think about that.
Ooh, I think that he's definitely had the offers, and he had offers to go to other powerhouse schools, and one in the Triangle that he turned down. I would say just the way he was building this. I don't know. I'm going to reflect on that. Maybe I call him and see what his response has been.
Okay.
To that.
Hey, Dr. Stroman,
great question.
Don't mention my name though.
Real quick question though. You think Don can be successful coaching men?
Yes.
Okay.
Basketball's basketball.
I think so too. But I'm not just basically going the other way. Don coaching men's basketball. I think she'll be very successful because I think people respect her. She know the game. She played the game, and that kind of thing. Okay, I was just curious.
We have a number of women now coaching in the NBA, so definitely proven, and guys like
That's
it.
True. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
A lot of y'all are drawn to motherly figures. It's Stern. I'll pop you on the butt, and you better listen.
You know what? But it's some scientific data associated with what you just said because people grow up with single parents, most majority of them are mothers. So that's interesting. We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, I got my C or D or whatever I got today. So I guess I got to come to the office.
Yes.
I'll send you my paper later.
Y'all have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
All right, you too. Take care.
AC.